What if I told you that the deepest love you could ever imagine, the kind that makes your soul sing, could also become the very reason strangers try to tear you down? That in a world supposedly evolved, simply who you love could ignite a firestorm of prejudice and hate? For too many of us, especially those in our community, this isn't a hypothetical. It's a lived reality, a silent battle against unseen chains, forged not in iron, but in the enduring shadows of ignorance. Today we're diving into a story that isn't just about love. It's about the raw courage to stand tall when the world wants you to shrink. It's about turning the sting of judgment into a beacon of hope. This is the incredible, heart-wrenching, and ultimately triumphant journey of Isaiah and Chloe, a couple who dared to love, and in doing so, taught us all how to truly live. Lean in, because their story is about to remind you of your own power. Chloe was a force in the bustling heart of Los Angeles. As a brilliant, sought-after fashion stylist, she moved with an effortless grace, her spirit as vibrant and intricate as the high-fashion design she curated. She didn't just dress stars, she sculpted their public personas, her impeccable eye for detail and quiet strength making her indispensable in an industry defined by fleeting trends. She was a master of aesthetics, but beneath that polished exterior lay a soul that sought genuine connection, a longing for something truly authentic in a world of artifice. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, in the concrete jungle of New York City, Isaiah saw the world through a different, yet equally discerning lens. A renowned architectural photographer, his work wasn't just about capturing buildings. It was about revealing the soul etched in steel, the resilience in concrete, the untold stories of urban landscapes. He was a quiet observer, a patient artist who found beauty in overlooked corners, a man who believed in the power of structure and the profound narratives they held. He was accustomed to solitude, to the quiet pursuit of perfection through his camera lens. Their worlds, seemingly disparate, converged at a high-profile industry gala, a lavish, star-studded affair in downtown Manhattan, where Chloe was styling the cover shoot for a major fashion magazine, a shoot that Isaiah had been commissioned to capture for the accompanying editorial spread. Amidst the flashing lights and the polite chatter, their eyes met. It wasn't a sudden cinematic whirlwind romance, it was a quiet spark, a mutual recognition of kindred spirits across a crowded room, a deep conversation about the hidden beauty in mundane objects, the ephemeral nature of fame, and the raw power of true artistic expression began. They talked for hours, oblivious to the buzzing world around them, two creative minds finding an unexpected resonance. It was a connection that promised something profound, something real, and they both knew, without a single word being uttered, that their lives were about to change forever. As their initial connection blossomed into something deeper, something beautiful and undeniable, they began to navigate the social circles of their respective industries as a couple, and that's when the subtle glances started. Not outright hostility, not yet, but surprised expressions from colleagues, a few whispered comments caught on the periphery of a conversation, an awkward silence when they introduced each other at an industry event. It was the softest rustle of leaves before the hurricane, the polite smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes, the subtle otherness that hinted at a latent discomfort, a societal discomfort they hadn't anticipated. It was a faint tremor, a barely perceptible warning of the seismic shift their love would soon cause. They were building their sanctuary, unaware that the very foundation of it was about to be put to the ultimate test by forces unseen, unheard, but undeniably felt. Isaiah wasn't just a photographer, he was a master storyteller, and he intended for his proposal to Chloe to be the most breathtaking story he ever told. He wanted to etch their love not just into her heart, but into the very fabric of the city they both adored. He meticulously planned every detail, for weeks, perhaps months, designing a stunning video montage of their journey, candid photos from their quiet dates in hidden cafes, laughter echoing from their collaborative creative projects, shared dreams whispered under starry New York skies. Then, with the help of a tech team, he arranged for this deeply personal narrative to be projected, larger than life, onto the iconic facade of the Flatiron Building in Times Square. The night was crisp, the city lights shimmering, and the energy in Times Square was electric. Chloe, unsuspecting, stood with Isaiah, thinking they were simply enjoying a late-night stroll. As the bustling crowds flowed around them, the towering projection began. Images of their shared moments, set to a melody that spoke of their love, danced across the historic bricks. Chloe's eyes widened, tears welling up as she saw their private world illuminated for seemingly all of New York to see. And then, as the final frame faded, showing a simple, "Will you, Isaiah?" knelt. In that dizzying, magical moment, surrounded by the glow of their love and the awe of onlookers, Chloe whispered, "Yes." A close friend, knowing Isaiah's plan, captured the entire enchanting scene on his phone, intending it just for family and close friends. He uploaded it to a new burgeoning social media platform, something like an early raw version of what we now know as TikTok, thinking it would get a few dozen likes. What happened next, however, was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. The sheer beauty, the raw emotion, the undeniable authenticity of their proposal resonated with something universal. It didn't get dozens of likes. It soared past hundreds, then thousands, then millions. It became an overnight sensation, a global phenomenon, racking up unprecedented views and shares. Their love story, meant for an intimate circle, was now a public spectacle, adored by millions worldwide. But here's the twist, the insidious undercurrent that no one could have predicted. As their proposal video soared to astronomical heights, breaking records for viral content, an equally powerful, far darker wave began to crest beneath the surface. The comment sections, initially overflowing with heartwarming messages and congratulations, slowly, then alarmingly, began to transform. It started with a few dissenting voices, then dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. The anonymity of the internet provided a shield for those who wouldn't dare utter such words in public, turning a celebratory moment into a public shaming. Their beautiful, pure love story, simply by featuring two individuals from different backgrounds, became a lightning rod for bigotry. Comments like, "This isn't natural. Why can't people stick to their own kind?" started appearing. Then came the slurs, the hateful emojis, the outright threats. "They're ruining our race. This is disgusting. They deserve every bit of hate they get." What had started as a cascade of love and adoration morphed into a cesspool of prejudice. Suddenly, their joy was overshadowed by an undeniable ugliness, exposing a deep, festering vein of societal intolerance that Isaiah and Chloe, in their blissful bubble, hadn't fully anticipated. It was a stark, brutal reminder that even in the brightest moments, darkness can lurk just beneath the surface. Their love, simply by existing in its beautiful, honest form, challenged deeply ingrained biases, and the backlash was fierce, visceral, and utterly heartbreaking. They were blindsided, utterly devastated. Chloe, who had always exuded quiet confidence, whose poise was legendary in her demanding industry, felt a deep, unfamiliar sting in her soul. Isaiah, the artist who found beauty in overlooked corners, who had always believed in the inherent goodness of people, was disillusioned, his optimism shattered by the sheer volume of hate. The joy of their engagement, a moment meant to be etched in pure bliss, was now suffocated by a barrage of negativity. Every notification, every rising view count brought with it a fresh wave of vitriol. They stopped reading the comments, but the shadow of it lingered, a constant buzzing reminder of the world's judgment. For a moment, and it was a long, painful moment, they considered retreating, deleting the video, shutting down their social media, vanishing from the public eye, just letting the hate win. It's a common pitfall for anyone thrust into such an unfair spotlight, to simply disappear, to avoid the pain. to protect their love by hiding it. The temptation to sever ties with the very platform that had broadcast their happiness, now broadcasting their sorrow, was immense. They wondered if they had made a terrible mistake by sharing their love so openly. But it was in that crucible of despair, in the silent, tearful conversations held late into the night, that something began to shift. This moment, this unexpected, painful turning point, would ultimately forge something far stronger within them than they could ever have imagined. The initial shock wore off, replaced by a quiet, simmering resolve. Isaiah and Chloe spent days in a haze of hurt, staring at their phones, watching the numbers climb, each view a double-edged sword. But then, as the dust of despair began to settle, a profound realization dawned on them. Retreating, deleting their video, would be letting the hate win. It would be an admission that their love, their beautiful, authentic connection, was something to be ashamed of, something to hide, and that, they both knew, was a lie they refused to live. "We can't just disappear," Chloe said, her voice quiet but firm, a strength returning to her eyes that Isaiah hadn't seen in days. "If our love can provoke such ugliness, then maybe, just maybe, it can also spark something good, something real." Isaiah, ever the visual storyteller, nodded slowly. "What if we use this platform not to defend ourselves, but to speak for everyone else who's felt this way? What if we turned their hatred into a megaphone for acceptance? This wasn't just about their story anymore. It was about a narrative far larger than themselves. It was about standing up for every other interracial couple who had faced silent judgment, every person who had been made to feel other because of who they loved. They decided to stand firm, not as victims, but as advocates. This wasn't a choice fueled by anger, but by a deep, unwavering conviction that love, in its purest form, always triumphs over hate. It was their quiet defiance, and it would change everything. Their first step was the boldest. Instead of issuing a defensive statement or a tearful apology, they posted a simple follow-up video. No fancy production, no elaborate edits. Just Isaiah and Chloe, sitting side by side, looking directly into the camera. Their faces were still etched with the weariness of the past few days, but their eyes held a new, quiet determination. Chloe spoke first, her voice calm and measured. "We've seen the comments," she began, "the hate, the judgment, and it's heartbreaking, but our love is real, it's honest, and it knows no color, no boundaries." Isaiah then added, his voice steady, "We refuse to let anyone dictate who we can love or how we live our lives, and we refuse to let their negativity silence us or anyone else who feels like an outsider for simply being true to themselves." They didn't lecture, they simply were. They shared their story with raw honesty, emphasizing their unwavering belief that love transcends superficial differences. And then, the true magic happened. Their honesty, their vulnerability, cracked open a dam of suppressed stories. Millions of viewers, many of whom had secretly endured similar experiences, poured out their support. The new comment section wasn't just filled with congratulations, it was a flood of shared experiences, of relief, of solidarity. People from all walks of life, from every background imaginable, shared their own triumphs over prejudice, their own struggles against unfair judgment. Their simple video didn't just go viral, it ignited a community, proving that even in the darkest corners of the internet, a beacon of hope could shine through. From that moment on, their channel, which they passionately named Love Beyond Labels, became more than just a place for their love story. It blossomed into a vibrant global sanctuary, a megaphone for acceptance, a platform for storytelling. Isaiah and Chloe started creating regular content, not just about their relationship, but about broader themes of diversity, acceptance, and challenging societal norms. They hosted interviews with other interracial couples, shared stories of overcoming prejudice, and tackled difficult conversations with grace, humor, and unwavering conviction. Their insights resonated deeply. The audience grew exponentially, attracting millions of followers who saw in Isaiah and Chloe not just a couple but leaders. They weren't just sharing their lives, they were fostering a movement, proving that visibility, authenticity, and unwavering love could indeed dismantle barriers and inspire a new generation to embrace diversity without fear. The profound lesson here is this: sometimes the greatest pain can ignite the greatest purpose. When you find your voice, when you choose to stand tall in the face of adversity, you don't just empower yourself, you empower countless others who are waiting for someone to light the way. And Isaiah and Chloe, in their quiet defiance, had just lit a roaring bonfire. As their Love Beyond Labels community flourished, bringing light to thousands, Isaiah and Chloe's personal world also expanded in the most miraculous way. They welcomed their two beautiful daughters, Luna and Saul, into their lives. These precious girls, with their radiant smiles and captivating blend of their parents' features, quickly became more than just their children. They became living, breathing testaments to the power of their love. They were a vivid, joyful answer to every hateful comment, a defiant splash of color against the monochrome of prejudice. Their birth brought an outpouring of love from their online community, solidifying their status as not just a couple, but a beacon of hope for countless multiracial families around the globe. Luna and Saul, innocent and pure, quickly became beloved figures online, their playful antics and sweet personalities enchanting millions. There was immense joy in showcasing the beauty of their mixed heritage, a visual sermon for acceptance. But this public adoration, while heartwarming, also brought a new layer of complexity, a paradox that every public figure grapples with: the inherent tension between sharing their lives and protecting their most sacred space. How do you guard the innocence of your children when their every giggle and milestone is on display for millions? And then came the moment, a chilling incident that snapped them back to the stark reality of their public lives, a stark reminder that even the purest intentions can lead to unforeseen dangers. It was a bright, bustling Saturday afternoon at a public park in their quiet, upscale neighborhood. Isaiah and Chloe were enjoying a rare moment of peace, pushing Luna and Saul on the swings, when a group of fans approached. They were loud, overzealous, and clearly excited. Isaiah and Chloe, accustomed to polite greetings, smiled and prepared for a quick photo. But then, it happened. In a blur of motion, a young woman, her eyes wide with a strange, possessive excitement, lunged forward. Before Chloe could react, the woman snatched Luna from her arms, a terrifying sudden movement that sent a jolt of pure ice through Chloe's veins. "Oh my God, it's Luna! I just want to show her to my sister," the woman shrieked, already turning to run towards her friends, holding the terrified little girl aloft like a trophy. The world seemed to stop. Chloe's scream was raw, primal. Isaiah, with the speed of a protective father, reacted instantly, tearing after the woman, snatching his daughter back in a surge of adrenaline-fueled fear. Luna was screaming, terrified, clinging to her mother, trembling. The fan, oblivious to the terror she had inflicted, looked genuinely confused, as if she had done nothing wrong. This wasn't just an overzealous fan. This was a terrifying violation, a stark reminder that the online world, with its blurred lines of intimacy, could spill over into dangerous real-world consequences. This wasn't just a lesson. It was a scar. That terrifying incident, that chilling violation of their sacred space, became their line in the sand. It solidified their resolve to protect their children's privacy above all else. They used it as a powerful, albeit painful, teaching moment for their audience. In their next video, with Luna and Saul safely off camera, they shared the story not for pity, but to emphasize the crucial difference between admiration and invasion. "While we cherish your support," Isaiah stated, his voice firm, "our children are off limits. They are not characters, they are human beings, and their safety and privacy are paramount." This unwavering stance, this transparent sharing of a difficult truth, only deepened their audience's respect. It became a powerful lesson about boundaries, about respect, about the very real human beings behind the screens. Their journey wasn't just about their family's resilience. It was about shifting the narrative for countless others. They proved that love, in its purest form, can dismantle not only the obvious barriers of prejudice, but also the subtle ones of modern fame. They showed the world that true love isn't just about weathering the storm. It's about building a legacy strong enough to protect those who come after, inspiring a new generation to embrace diversity without fear and to respect the delicate balance between connection and personal sanctity. Their love, once a target, was now a blueprint. Looking back now, almost a decade after that viral proposal and the subsequent storm, Isaiah and Chloe stand as a living, breathing testament to unwavering love and incredible resilience. From the initial whispers of judgment to the deafening roar of online hate, and finally to the overwhelming wave of support that followed, their journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. They faced the darkest corners of human prejudice head-on, not with anger, but with an unshakable belief in the power of their connection. They built a thriving family and an inspiring community, brick by brick, moment by moment, transforming adversity into advocacy. Their story isn't just a tale of survival, it's a saga of triumph, a testament to the human spirit's ability to turn wounds into wisdom and challenges into platforms for change. Their most profound lesson, etched not just in their hearts but in the millions of lives they've touched, is beautifully simple. True love knows no boundaries. It isn't confined by color, restricted by age, or dictated by nationality. Love is a universal force, an unwritten rule that transcends every arbitrary line society tries to draw. For so long the world has tried to categorize, to limit, to separate. But Isaiah and Chloe proved that love laughs at such limitations. Consider this. If their tender story had unfolded just a generation or two ago, the challenges they faced would have been infinitely more brutal, the societal rejection far more pervasive and legally enforced. They would have been outcasts, battling not just online anonymity, but entrenched systemic discrimination. Yet, in their own time, with their quiet defiance and unwavering visibility, they have undoubtedly paved a smoother path for future generations. Their public love, once a scandalous anomaly to some, has become a beautiful norm to many. They weren't just sharing their story, they were subtly, powerfully rewriting the very rules of acceptance, showing the world that love, in its purest form, has the power to heal old wounds and build new bridges. Isaiah and Chloe's story isn't just entertainment, it's a powerful invitation. An invitation to examine your own biases, to challenge your own comfort zones, and to celebrate the vibrant tapestry of human connection in all its forms. It's a call to action for every single one of us to stand against prejudice, to choose kindness, and to champion love in all its magnificent, boundless expressions. Their journey reminds us that every act of love, every choice to stand firm against hate, creates ripples of change that can transform the world, one heart at a time. Their lives are a testament to the fact that when love takes root, when it's nurtured with courage and vulnerability, no amount of hatred can truly uproot it. It only makes it grow stronger, deeper, its branches reaching higher, stretching towards the purest light. So, what story will you choose to tell with your life? Will you let fear dictate your choices, or will you let love lead the way, blazing a trail for a more understanding, more accepting world? The choice, my friends, is always yours. Thank you for listening.